everybody. I hope you're okay. I'm just waiting to see if a few more people are going to join us this afternoon and then we'll get going. Right, if you could put your videos on, that would be great. But I understand if you can't. There's also the chat open there. So when we have some open discussions, if you could join in, that would be absolutely fantastic. So what we're looking at today is it's one in our webinar series about self-regulation and executive function. And we're going to be looking at creating that community of collaborative learners and physical activity. As you might already know, am an early years lead for a school in Nottinghamshire, so I do the job. I'm also partnered with the Earlier Stronger Practice Hub for Nottinghamshire and Derbyshire at the moment. So let's first have a look at what we're going to be looking at today. So what is our agenda? So first of all, we're just going to be having a quick reflection over what is self-regulation, executive function, just reactivating our memory to see if we can remember what that is from previous sessions. Then we're going to be looking at what is that creating a community of collaborative learners, and what is this? We're going to be looking at metacognitive scaffolding and that collaborative learning. And then we're going to be looking at how this all links into creative play. And then we're going to be moving on to looking at how you can promote physical activity within your setting, and then how inhibitory controls, that impulse control, affects that physical activity and how they work together. So what is self-regulation executive function? So what I want you to do is I want you to watch this video quickly, and while you're watching it, I want you to take some notes on specific examples of executive functional challenges that might be mentioned throughout. So what I want us to have a think about now is, and if you want to obviously unmute your microphones and join in, or if you'd like to put it in the chat, that's great. I can read it out for everybody. What's the one key moment in the video that helped you understand executive function better? So did you identify any concepts, behaviors, or examples that stood out? How did you see executive function skills showing up in your own context? So when you're at work, in your learning environment. So for example, your planning tasks, are there anybody that's adapting to change? Do you see any children showing that self-control? Which executive function skill do you think is most essential in your setting at the moment, and why? Is it that working memory, that flexibility, or that impulse control? And what is one concrete strategy you're inspired to try to support executive function in your context? So if you think back to previous sessions where we've been thinking about those structured routines, that explicit, those planning, those prompts, or those visual aids that we've spoken about. If you want to pop it in the chat, that would be great, and I'll read it out. While you're doing that, what I will let you know is what I think to these bullet points is that one key idea that stood out to me in the video was that executive function is not about children being ready or not ready, but about skills that are still developing and that can really be actively supported. So seeing executive function described through everyday behaviors, so like that persistence, that self-control and flexibility, made it feel much more I'd say observable and practical. And I recognise several examples there from my own setting, particularly when children struggle to shift between activities or manage that frustration when plan changes. And I think we all see that within earlier settings. And what this helped me to realise and reflect on is that what might that look like challenging behaviour is often a sign that executive function skills are still emerging. And remember, we've spoke about that in previous sessions as well. So for me, the executive function skill that I see as most important in my context is that self-regulation. And what I find is it really underpins that the relationships, that learning, and the participation that the children participate in routines. So when children are really supported to manage their emotions and impulses, they're better able to engage with others and persist with those tasks, I find. And one strategy that when I spoke to my team last week, we want to implement is giving really clear visuals and verbal cues before those transitions, along with allowing extra time for those children to really process changes that are upcoming. And this feels like a really small but realistic step, which I believe, could significantly support children's executive function development. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go on to looking at creating a community of collaborative learners, and we're going to have a think about what is it. So in the early years, creating a community of collaborative learners means intentionally building an environment where children learn with and from one another in ways that are socially connected, that are respectful, and that are really, really purposeful. So rather than learning in isolation, children are encouraged to share their ideas, solve problems, negotiate roles, and participate in those shared routines like I was just talking about. And what you could do as practitioners to play a key role by fostering a sense of belonging and that psychological safety, where children feel confident to express themselves, to make those mistakes, and to try again. It's that growth mindset, isn't it? So this sense of community lays the foundation to that deep learning and that healthy development. This approach, when you do it, is really closely linked to the development of executive function, which, like we've known previously, that includes that working memory, that inhibitory control, and that cognitive flexibility. So when children collaborate, they're constantly exercising these skills in meaningful real-world contexts. So, for example, that working memory is strengthened as children hold those shared ideas in mind, remember group plans, and follow those multi-step routines during play. And that inhibitory controls develops as children learn to take turns, listen to others, and manage those impulses and regulate their emotions in social situations. And then if we think about that cognitive flexibility, that's nurtured through that collaborative learning. So as children are required to consider different perspectives, they're able to then adapt their thinking and change strategies when plans don't work as expected. And these experiences then support that flexible thinking and that problem solving, which are really, really essential for learning across all areas of our curriculum. And importantly, executive function develops most effectively in environments where children feel really, really secure and supported, which we all know as practitioners. And a strong learning community really reduces that stress and promotes those positive relationships, which are really, really critical for brain development in the early years. So ultimately, by creating a community of collaborative learners, what you're doing as practitioners is you're providing children with those daily opportunities to practice and strengthen their executive function through that authentic social interaction. And these skills aren't taught in isolation, but they're what they are. They're embedded in play, they're embedded in your relationships and those shared experiences, supporting children become confident, self-regulated, and capable learners. So what we're going to have a look at now is that metacognitive scaffolding. What that is it's that thinking together and that collaborative learning. So what metacognitive scaffolding is, it's when a practitioner supports a child to think about their own thinking or learning process rather than giving them the answer. And what this does is it helps children develop self-awareness, problem-solving skills, and the ability to plan, monitor, and evaluate their own actions. So when you're doing this and you're in play with children, what you'd want to do is use prompts like, I wonder what would happen if, what else could we try? And encourage children to predict outcomes or explore alternatives and plan actions. So language such as, how did you decide to do that? Or what part was tricky for you? Really encourage that reflection on their thought process. And what this does, it helps them evaluate and adjust those strategies. And then if you also could use prompts such as, what do you think your friend meant? Or how could you maybe help each other with this? That encourages that social metacognition. And that what that is then, it's thinking about others, thinking in that collaborative context. So all these prompts are classic examples of that metacognitive scaffolding, because they guide children to think about thinking while still letting them take the lead in their own problem solving. So it'd be really effective if you could try this maybe this afternoon or this week with children and see where you get. Now, Peluso, he looked into this and he highlighted that cognitive training is the most effective way that practitioners provide that metacognitive scaffolding. So, for example, by prompting children with questions such as, I wonder what would happen, in earlier settings, this type of support does more than build individual thinking skills. What it does is it helps to create a community of collaborative learners. So when you model that curiosity, that thinking aloud, and that problem solving through open-ended questions, children learn that learning is something we do together. It's not just in isolation. And these prompts then invite children to reflect on their thinking, which enables them to listen to each other's ideas and then build on those shared experiences that they have. And then over time, what you'll find is children begin to use similar language with their friends and their peers. So then they're supporting one another's thinking and learning. So in collaborative early years environments, metacognitive scaffolding encourages that shared problem solving as children explore together, that turn taking and listening. It strengthens their executive function and those social skills. It gives them the confidence to take risks, that knowing that mistakes are part of learning, which I think is really, really important. It's okay to make mistakes. It's the language for thinking, which supports self-regulation and reflection. So by consistently using that metacognitive prompts during play and learning activities, what you're doing is you're helping children develop not only executive function skills, but also a sense of belonging within a learning community where ideas are valued, explored, and co-constructed. So what I want you to do now is I want you to have a think and share an example of a time when you saw children helping each other think through a problem, and how could you use metacognitive prompts to strengthen this kind of collaboration? Which open-ended questions or prompts could you start using this week to encourage children to reflect and learn together? And how might modeling curiosity and thinking aloud change the way children interact and solve problems in your setting? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put you into a breakout room. I will pop these questions in the group chat as well. So if you could have a chat together, and then we'll come back and see what you think. Just want to pop anything in the chats to with what you found there, that would be great. Sorry, it went off. Right, let me carry on. So in my setting, what I can use is those open-ended prompts, like I wonder what would happen if, during those play and group activities. And what this does, it encourages children to think together, share those ideas, and then support each other's problem solving. So what you'd find is by modeling that curiosity and reflective thinking, you can help build a collaborative learning environment where that executive function and social skills will grow naturally. So how can we create creative play, and how does this create a community of collaborative learners? So what does this look like? So that might look like that block play, that fantasy, or that pretend play. And then if we're thinking about that working memory and creative play, what this is first of all, it's that holding that information in mind. So during block play or pretend play, children must remember the rules, those storylines or plans, while actively engaging in the activity. And this exercise then strengthens working memory, which is the ability to hold and manipulate that information in mind. Then if you think about that planning and sequencing, so children often plan their actions ahead. So for example, I'll build a bridge first, then a house, and adjust as they go, requiring them to keep multiple pieces of information in mind simultaneously. And then there's that problem solving and that negotiation. So what that collaborative play does then, it requires the remembering of peers, those ideas and the rules or the roles, while negotiating, deciding on solutions together, while exercising that working memory. And then if we look at the research into this, some researchers, Burke and Diamond, looked into this, and they found that showing that structured pretend play and guided block play improve that working memory, because children must hold and manipulate information while coordinating their actions. And then if we go back to thinking about Pelouzos again, and other studies, they link adult scaffolding, so that metacognitive scaffolding, those asking questions and prompting reflection, to enhance that executive function, and it particularly that working memory in young children. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to have a watch of this video.
Are you being the baby? Who's going to be the mummy? Are you? What does the baby need, do you think maybe she's hungry? Look, baby's coming to see you, mummy. She's hungry. You need some food. Oh, baby. Come out from under the table, you might hurt your head. Hey, come on, baby. We don't want you to hurt your head. That's it. Oh, look, Darcy's helping the baby. Come on, baby. Oh, that was a good choice, baby. Now, baby, it's time for some dinner. Could we make some food for baby? The baby don't like carrots. Does she not like carrots? What could we do instead then if she doesn't like carrots? She likes carrots. She likes beans. Maybe we should ask the baby. Baby, do you like carrots? No.
She might like purple carrots. Hey, what a baby. You like purple carrots, baby?
Yes. Oh, got a thumbs up for the purple carrots. Do you think you could make baby some of those?
Fish.
Some fish. Ask the baby. Does the baby like fish? Do you like fish, baby? Oh,
Yes.
no. But I would like some. Could you make me some instead, please? Thank you. Have you got a bowl?
No.
No, I've got to hold it in my hand.
Yes.
Oh, I'll have to be really careful. Thank you. Are you sure you don't want to try?
Baby, do you like cake?
Oh, she's going to crack it. Maybe do you want a banana? Oliver wants to do that. Are you having a sandwich for your lunch today? That was really tasty. Thank you so much for that. Why do you think the baby's under the table?
Maybe she wants to go under the table.
Maybe she wants to go under the table. Is it safe though?
Hello.
Oh, baby, come out. You're going to hurt your head. There we go. Good choice. Oh, Darcy's giving the baby a hug. There we go. Come on, baby.
I want to know.
Yes, please. I really like egg on toast. Do you have some bread toast to go with it? Brilliant.
Come on, baby.
You put that on the plate for me. That's really tasty.
Baby.
Have you got any forks or a spoon? You're going to find one, Oliver. Ooh, this is a really big one, isn't it?
Come on, wait.
Brilliant, thank you. It's good teamwork.
Come on, baby.
Would you like to try some?
You need to chop that.
Baby? Did you have a taste? Oh, have a taste of it. It's really delicious. Oh, someone's on the banana phone. Oh, baby, what's wrong? Jump up, baby. Come and tell us what's wrong. Somebody woke her up. You think we need to be a little bit quieter for the baby? Do we need to be a bit quieter? That's it. She might go back to sleep now. Are you being the baby?
So what I want us to think about now is what specific play interactions in the video require children to use that working memory. For example, remembering sequence in a pretend scenario, recalling plans made with peers, or holding another child ideas while contributing their own. And how did the adult prompt or question help children to think together and stay focused? So what we're going to do is we're going to watch the video again. I'll pop in the chat the questions. I want you to have a think about this while you're watching it again.
Are you being the baby? Who's going to be the mummy? Are you? What does the baby need, do you think? Do you think maybe she's hungry? Look, baby's coming to see you, mummy. She's hungry. You need some food. Oh, baby. Come out from under the table, you might hurt your head. Tell her. Say, come on, baby. We don't want you to hurt your head. That's it. Oh, look, Darcy's helping the baby. Come on, baby. Oh, that was a good choice, baby. Now, baby, it's time for some dinner. Could we make some food for baby?
But baby don't like carrots.
Does she not like carrots? What could we do instead then if she doesn't like carrots?
She likes carrots. She likes these.
Maybe we should ask the baby. Baby, do you like carrots? No.
She might like purple carrots.
Ask her.
Hey, for the baby. She likes purple carrots, baby.
Yes. Oh, got a thumbs up for the purple carrots. Do you think you could make baby some of those?
Fish.
Some fish. Ask the baby. Does the baby like fish? Do you like fish, baby? Oh.
Yes.
No. But I would like some. Could you make me some instead, please? Thank you. Have you got a bowl?
No.
No, I've got to hold it in my hand.
Yes.
Oh, I have to be really careful. It's really tasty, thank you. Are you sure you don't want to try?
Baby, do you like cake?
Oh, she's going to crack it. Maybe you could peel a banana.
Do you like cake?
Okay, Oliver. Oliver wants to do that. Are you having a sandwich for your lunch today? That was really tasty. Thank you so much for that. Why do you think the baby's under the table?
Maybe she wants to go under the table.
Maybe she just wants to go under the table. Is it safe though?
Hello.
Oh, baby, come out. You're going to hurt your head. There we go. Good choice. Oh, Elsie's giving the baby a hug. There we go.
I want to know.
Yes, please. I really like egg on toast. Do you have some bread toast to go with it? Brilliant.
Come on, baby.
Put that on the plate for me. That's really tasty.
Baby.
Have you got any forks or a spoon? Nice one, Oliver. Ooh, this is a really big one, isn't it? Brilliant, thank you. It's good teamwork.
Come on, baby.
Ooh, would you like to try some?
You need to chop that.
Baby? Did you have a taste? No, have a taste of it. It's really delicious. Oh, someone's on the banana phone. Oh, baby, what's wrong? Jump up, baby. Come and tell us what's wrong. Somebody woke her up. Do you think we need to be a little bit quieter for baby? Do we need to be a bit quieter? That's it. She might go back to sleep now.
So if you want to pop in the chat what you thought watching the video again, and while you're popping it in the chat, I'll go through what I thought. So watching this video, what I noticed that during the creative play, children are constantly remembering ideas, plans and rules while interacting with each other. And the adults supported this by asking those open-ended questions. And what I saw was that she was really encouraging the children to plan, negotiate and solve those problems together. And I can see how these experiences really strengthen that working memory as children hold on to multiple pieces of information in mind while deciding what to do next. And in my setting, I could use similar strategies by prompting children to think about their plans during block or pretend play, and maybe encouraging them to collaborate, which will help them develop both those executive function and social skills. Have either of you, anybody got anything they want to add to that? Right, I'll move on. So our key takeaways for this are, what you want to really do is encourage that creative self-directed play to develop a child's executive functioning skills. So thinking about like their working memory, that planning and that problem solving. You really want to be using that metacognitive scaffolding that we've been talking about. So those open-ended questions, those prompts, that reflection to support that thinking and that collaboration. You really want to foster that shared problem solving and negotiate to build social skills and that real sense of community. And as practitioners, you want to model that curiosity, reflection, and collaboration and negotiation, and to help children really learn together. And what you need to remember is that small, consistent strategies create an environment where children become confident, reflective, and collaborative learners. So now what we're going to move on to looking at is how you can promote physical activity within your setting. So I think physical activity is a really, really powerful way that you as practitioners can support a child's self-regulation and developing executive function skills. So by regularly offering simple movement opportunities like running and jumping, what you can do is you can help children calm their bodies and stay focused. So these activities might be part of a daily routine, or what they can be done is you can weave them into learning experiences, such as helping children remember and understand new words. So what you can do as a practitioner is also encouraging movement as a practical strategy for supporting that emotional regulation and attention. So in this context, we're talking about simple, repetitive movements, and more complex or challenging physical activities, what we've explored previously when we've looked at creating and navigating that challenge, which we looked at in previous webinars. So when we talk about executive function, we now know what you know is that it's the brain's control center, which consists of a set of mental skills, which are the working memory, that inhibitory control, and that cognitive flexibility. And what research shows us increasingly highlights is that how physical activity supports children's motor development, while also strengthening that cognitive skills, such as that inhibitory control, which is a really essential part of executive function. So physical activity in young children plays a critical role, not only in developing gross and fine motor skills, but also in supporting those cognitive functions, such as inhibitory control, that ability to suppress impulse and stay focused on that goal-directed tasks. And what you find as well is that inhibitory control is a core component of executive function, which also underpins that attention regulation, that planning, that physical, that flexible thinking, and of course, self-regulation. An early development of these skills lays the foundations for those later academic success and that social competence. And research indicates that structured play-based activities combining motor challenges with cognitive demands are most effective in promoting both physical and cognitive development. So an example of this is including obstacle courses, balance tasks, locomotor movements like jumping or crawling, and those integrative games, so such as Simon Says or red light, green light. And these activities not only enhance strength, coordination, and agility, but they also encourage children to practice self-regulation and inhibition, because they're having to follow those rules and respond to the changing instructions that you're giving them. Although improvements in inhibitory control may not always be immediately measurable, what we do know from evidence is they suggest that cognitive engaging physical activities are more likely to strengthen these executive functions than simple repetitive exercise alone. So short bursts of movement that require attention, rule following, and behavioural inhibition can have immediate positive effects on executive function, while regular sessions support the ongoing development over time. So in practice, incorporating structured cognitively demanding physical activities into early childhood education or therapy sessions offer dual benefits, such as fostering motor competence while simultaneously promoting the neural and behaviour systems that support that self-regulation. So activities such as stop and go, obstacle courses, balance games, and rule-based movement games provide children with opportunities to develop both body and brain in a really lovely integrative way. So what I want you to do is I want you to reflect on a recent experience where you were working with a child or children within your setting, and consider a movement activity you led or observed. And did the activity require children to think and move at the same time? So, for example, by following rules, by stopping, starting, and balancing, and how did the children demonstrate inhibitory control during the activity? If you can, it would be great if you could pop something in the chat so we could have a discussion about it. That'd be lovely. I'll just give you a minute to have a think about that. Great, thank you. So Cash is saying that they do dance and movement sessions at the end of the day every day. They play red light, green light. They also play Simon Says and do games with tires while children push them from one end to the other and work together. I love that with the tires. That's also really, really great, like early writing skills as well. Developing that working memory, getting them ready for that journey of writing. And recently I led a movement activity with a group of preschoolers where we also played red light, green light. The children were asked to move forward when I said green light and stop immediately when I said red light. And the activity required them to think and move at the same time, as they had to listen carefully, remember the rules and control their impulses to obviously stop on time. And during the activity, what I observed was that most children demonstrate that inhibitory control by pausing their movement promptly when the signals change. But some children initially found it really, really challenging, which was quite interesting, and needed those gentle reminders. But with that repeated practice, they increasingly anticipated the cues and controlled their impulses more effectively. But what I found is the activity also encouraged that turn-taking attention to others, supporting both cognitive and those social emotional skills. So overall, I think the experiences highlighted how a simple, structured movement game can really engage that executive function while keeping children physically active. And it also reinforced my understanding that integrating motor challenges with those cognitive demands is an effective way to support that self-regulation in young children. And Donna here, thank you, said team members here created a CRISP game. They move in different ways related to the CRISP name and helps children to remember the verbal cue and action at the moment. Good for adults, working memory too. That's great, actually. I've never heard of that, Donna. I like that. That's fantastic. So what are our key takeaways from this? It is that physical activity in the early years is about much more than just keeping children moving. It supports that development of those motor skills, that strength and balance, while also enhancing that cognitive ability, such as attention, memory, and that self-regulation. So integrating movement with thinking helps children practice those really important executive functions. And one of the most effective ways to achieve this, again, like we said, is those really engaging games, like we've said, Simon Says, red light, green light, or even an obstacle course, which requires children to think and move at the same time. And these games are really, really fun. So children want to get involved and they're active, and they provide that natural opportunity for children to practice that self-control and that attention and those, obviously, those social skills. And observing how children respond during these activities allows you as practitioners to adapt challenges to suit different skill levels and encourage that success. So finally, the frequency and structure of movement sessions matter. So short, regular sessions, even 10 to 30 minutes at a time, are often more effective than a single long session. So by combining those physical movement with that cognitive demand and that social interactions, what you can do is then promote a really holistic development in preschoolers or young children, supporting both their bodies and their brain in a really fun, engaging way. Thank you so much for joining us today for that session. I'm sorry we had a bit of a glitch where it went off. I don't know what happened there. If you've got a few minutes and could provide us with some feedback, that would be great. I'll just give you a few minutes to do that, and then I'll just quickly let you know what's coming up. Right, so just to let you know what's coming up. So the last webinar with a focus on self-regulation and executive function will be on the 11th of March, and we're going to be talking about learning and looking at metacognition. And then coming up from the hub as well, we've got bespoke advisory sessions, so you can book in for a chat. And we've got room leaders networks for babies, 2-year-olds and 3 to 4s. And then there's also half-termly earlier SEND networks, which are face-to-face and online, and those local area conferences as well. So if you want to book into that last webinar, that would be great. And yeah, anything else coming up from the hub. So thank you from us all from the hub, and I hope to see you on the 11th of March for the final webinar. Thank you so much, and thank you very much, Donna. That's a lovely comment. Thank you so much.